Qualitonali, bienvenidos y bienvenidas. Welcome to PNN KXU, Poor People's Revolutionary Radio on 96.1 in the dial in East Oakland and streaming live online at www.poormagazine.org/radio. This is Muteado Silencio con voces de migrantes en resistencia in studio with fellow formerly houseless poet and poverty scholar, mi carnala La Tiny.
No more trees, no more bees. No more fresh water, no more Mauna, no more air, no more leaves. So we can't breathe. Then no more you, and no more me. No more forests in which to roam. Settlers say, sell Mama Earth. Put them all in homes, then charge them rent, then force them to work for cents, then take away the jobs, evict them and throw them in a tent, then sweep the tent and hand them poison to numb our minds into death like meth and fent. No more trees, no more bees, no more Mauna, no more leaves, so we can't breathe. But indigenous people never wanted to deal with this settler greed. So now we all on empty concrete because they got us all in a sweep.
You can listen and watch the rest of the podcast by Poverty Scholar at Poverty Scholar or whatever you get your podcast from. Protect Mauna Kea, protect our mamas. On today's Poor People's Radio podcast, we speak with Warrior Shiro Pua Case, Mama Earth protector of the sacred Mauna Kea in Hawaii, which corporate academics are still trying to build a telescope and desecrate the sacred. Then we will hear this week's segment, Addiction Doula, on the healing lifeways from addictions as poverty struggles with. And Poor People's Radio graduate, Dr. Sweet on the Epstein Files. But first, we will hear this week's edition of Ruthless Radio with sweet survivors from Huchin, aka Soka, Oakland.
Just trying to stay out of prison, man. Number one, first and foremost, keep my freedom. And I've been seeing with that comes, being in the streets because hustling and doing crime, I have you housed, but it also have you in trouble. So I've been, dealing with being unhoused to keep my freedom.
How long have you been houseless?
Going on 2 years now.
2 years. Yeah. And you were staying at your RB, you staying in someone's relative?
Cars, couches, here and there.
Okay. And again, our brothers run one of the recipients that will be getting the hotel fund. And again, they will ask the owners to please help us so we can help, folks get inside for a week or two. And thank you for sharing, brother.
All right, thank you.
I was recently fired and became homeless within the same week. And I've been going through this for like the last year. And it's a struggle every day.
What were you staying? Were you staying in an RB, friends, families, couches?
Right now I'm staying in a car with a friend. And came here looking for hopefulness.
Have you tried to go into any of the shelters, any of the housing?
Some of the shelters, I've been to one. Actually, I've been to two. Some of the conditions were unlivable. So I rather stayed in the car with my friends. Every day, I'm just looking for a job, seeing how I can get better.
Yeah, so you just heard two of the powerful poverty scholar warriors, reporters for Ruthless Radio. And that's why we did a Hopefulness Hotel Fund, because these settler governments have nothing for us. All they have is a bulldozer and a sweep and a hefty bag and are moving folks from one pillar to post. And so, as poor and houseless people, we created the Homefulness Hotel Fund, which is just redistributing immediately any repair, any reparations, any community reparation dollars that you kick down so that our relatives can be inside. It ain't a solution. It's just temporary. But if you outside, you understand how much it means to be able to get hot water, to sleep in a bed, to actually have a toilet, and to not be criminalized for the sole act of surviving. We also have the Lie of Rent Fund. If you could bring up those two images. And so if people can distribute, we appreciate you. It's the only way we support this. There's no settler government money. There's no bankster money. It's just the people supporting the people, because we all we got. Venmo is Poor Dash Magazine, and PayPal is poormag@gmail.com, and it goes directly back out. I don't know if you have a picture of the group of folks. Yesterday we had over 25 folks, and yeah, and it's heartbreaking. Many folks who were elders, disabled, babies. Who's houseless family. Your mama, your grandmama, your auntie, your uncle. Um, so yeah, thank you for all the folks that are supporting and redistributing. Lastly, shout out to our relatives at Etna Street Solidarity, to all the warriors in Tavangar. We had just had the blessing of sharing the Medicine of Crushing Wheelchairs movie, and met with Blue Hollywood, some beautiful warriors down there, L.A. Can, and a warrior who is an artist who was just violently swept in the compound sweep. So stay tuned for the Etna Street Solidarity report on surviving the fire while houseless. And you can look them up, Etna Street Solidarity, on Instascam as well. So having said that, as we're struggling as poor and houseless displaced people, indigenous peoples displaced behind these false borders, and First Nations people of this stolen land, it's our blessing and our honor to also recognize that Mother Earth, that Mother Water, and that our Maunas, our mountains, are also what keeps us alive and keeps us able to survive. We have the blessing and honor of bringing in a beautiful Shiro warrior who does not play, who's fighting every day to save the sacred mountain known as Mauna Kea. Welcome, Pua, to Poor People's Radio.
Aloha. Thank you for having me.
Aloha.
Aloha.
What a blessing. So maybe you can tell listeners and viewers who don't know. I know it's always painful to go back into this endless fight that y'all have been holding, but maybe a little bit of the history of this violence that y'all have been dealing with, and what is this push by the corporate academics, as I call them, to bring white science to the Mauna.
Aloha, everybody out there, and mahalo for all of you for having me, my voice, and my passion, and our story, and the work that we do out there today, early in the morning. I'm here visiting from Mokuokeave, Hawaii Island, from my Mauna Awakea, highest mountain in the world from the seafloor. And when I say that, that begins for me what is sacred. This mountain touches the realms above the clouds and also to the very core of the ocean floor. And there's something very special about that our people knew from times, decades, generations, way before our time. And this is the mountain that we as Native Hawaiians are born from. And so in 2007, the Gordon and Betty Moore Foundation of Palo Alto pledged over $200 million, joining countries of Japan, India, Canada, and China to form a consortium, if you wish, to build an 18-story, 30-meter telescope on Mauna Kea. So I think what I will say about that is that it was the one too many, the one too big for our people to tolerate and for the Mauna to tolerate. It would be too much for all those who had tolerated, if you want to say, injustice. It was a symbol for us. as Native people and as local people, as our allies, our supporters, it was that one moment when we found out that an 18-story telescope was going up on our Mauna that we did what was unexpected. We did the unexpected. People, I think, around the world didn't expect a small Native group of people to stand as we did, to rise and say, no more. You have taken almost everything. You are not going to take this northern plateau where the mountain was, on the mountain where the telescope was scheduled or proposed to be built. And we rose as protectors. And not just the beautiful thing about all of this, and I have to say there's a lot of beauty sometimes, right? When we stand, yes, it's challenging, it's exhausting, there's sacrifice, there's pain, there's illness, there's hurt, there's emotional trauma, there's trauma, period. But it can be beautiful when the outcome is brings people together and it unites us and it makes us stronger and it transforms us. And that's what this did for us. It transformed us. It made us stronger. It made us remember that we are fierce warriors. And in that, we are still standing because it's been since then, 2007. It's now 2026. We have never allowed for construction on the mountain, not even a groundbreaking, and we have held all of these years and will continue to do so if any attempt is made to build on the mountain. And that's why I'm here. I'm here because how many ways and how many times do we have to say no? So I'm here in one more way of saying no. Aoli TMT. You're not going to build on our mountain because we cannot allow for that, and the Mauna will not tolerate it.
Ashe. So these, I don't know, so many different things are coming up. The Stanford, the place of the birth of eugenics and foundations and all of that. What I call white science, not a culture, not a color, but a system. Why do they have to build this? What is the big push? Do you have any idea of this effort about trying to bring the largest telescope known to humankind? And what is that? Do you have any idea about what that's about and why those millions of bloodstained settler dollars are attempting to be part of that?
Well, sure. It's not very different from anything else scientifically proposed that will be the biggest, that supposedly will be the best, that will allow for you to do more than you thought that you could do. I mean, it's the same argument, the same discussion, the same proposal. And we're here to say that we're not saying science this or that. Our argument was never about culture versus science. Our argument and our stance was about protecting the sacred, and not just protecting the sacred, but protecting the water, protecting the ley lines, the energy lines, the mountains that communicate with one another, the balance of nature, listening to the teachings of our ancestors and knowing that you are in, for us, the Vawakua, the realm of the deities, the realm of our ancient stories, the realm of our teachings. And for many of us, when the Mauna says no, in the very many ways that it is able to say that, then it's up to us to listen and up to us to protect the sacred. So yes, we can listen to all of the scientific theories and arguments as to why that Mauna Kea is the best place to build. and they had the funding, or thought they had the funding, which they don't anymore. But when you, on the scientific level, when you find that opportunity, and that you can see that this might be bigger than the one before, you're going to go for that with all that you have, and you're going to do everything that you can to accomplish that mission, even when a native people and a native culture become your collateral damage.
Mm.
We have
Mm.
we have had arrests, including my own daughter, my family members. We've had arrests over the years. We've had challenge. We've had real pain, like I said, and sacrifice. But we've also had the alliances and the relationships that enabled us to stand, that came from all over the world, from our brothers and sisters here on the continent who have flown up time after time to help us, and for us to do the same,
Ashe.
whether it be Standing Rock, whether it be against oil, whether it be helping with ceremony. This exchange that we have made, that we say the mountain has brought together, has been what has kept us going. So even in the struggle, if there is enough that you can see that change is happening,
Mm.
and people are banding together, and we are looking in each other's eyes and say, I'll stand with you.
Mm.
Another is saying back, well, I'll stand with you. And when you have your stance, wherever that be, and you see a group coming from another place and taking their place wherever you tell them to be, and helping in whatever way they can, that is the beauty,
Ashe.
as
Ashe.
there always is, if you can find it. And the reason that we're here this time to deliver this petition, I really want to say something about that, because when you're asked to sign a petition, sometimes you say, oh, I'll do it later, maybe I'll come back to it, right? We all see petitions everywhere. But I'm going to say, really pause when you see a petition, and don't think that it doesn't matter. A petition, because of the energy from the heart, the intention, the physical signature, or the digital signature, there's a mana to that. There's a power to that,
Mm.
because your name has just been invoked into something that will live forever.
Mm.
And for us, when in my organization, when we created this petition, we said, when there's 500,000 signatures, when we reach our goal, we will bring that petition to the Gordon and Betty Moore Foundation. Because in the media over the years, even when we've stood 20,000 and more, it's always reported that we're some Hawaiians and our allies, no matter the amount. And
Mm.
that's frustrating for us, because it takes real effort to rally that many people.
Yeah.
And so we said, we made a commitment, a pledge, and a promise. We said, when we reach 500,000, we'll be at your door,
Mm.
and we'll show you that we are many more. Because some of these corporations and even these countries, I'm not sure they're hearing accurate information either. They
Mhm.
might be hearing that we're not standing, or our numbers are dwindling, or there's infighting, or they've bought us off, or they've given our children scholarships, they're waiting us out, all of the typical ways that they in the end are able to obtain those lands.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to make sure that Gordon and Betty Moore, who really profess to do wonderful things, and in some cases they do, but not this one, and not this time. And
Mm.
so we came with our, not just our petition, but a notice to cease and desist.
Mm.
Very important and powerful letter from UC Santa Cruz that said basically hands off Mauna Kea.
Mm-hmm.
And when we can be a part of, I try to create as many powerful moments, as many celebrations, as many ways as I can to educate, to bring awareness, to bring projects. I mean, we work 24/7 for Mauna Kea because
Mm-hmm.
Mauna Kea is the source and the pico. Like, why is that you're going to put your whole life into that? Because we protect the source.
I
We
see.
we say protect the pico, the
Exactly.
umbilical cord, the
Exactly.
navel connection to your people, and that is Mauna Kea.
Right. Well, they
So
like to. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, go right
I was
ahead.
just, I was just going to say, the settler system would like to take everything from us and then leave us with nothing. And again, I'm just, you know, making those connections always because our community is houseless and poor people, all nations, all generations, from all four corners of Mother Earth. And yet, boy, we've been out there whenever you come to the Bay, supporting whenever we can, fighting for the Mauna, fighting for the water, fighting for Standing Rock, fighting for Segorte, because these are all connected. We can't just be looking, at one of these acts of settler abuse, like sweeping people like we're trash, but not looking at the roots, if really the actual roots, which you all do with this protecting the umbilical cord, right? Is how you look at it. Because the land and Mother Earth is what they're trying to take us away from, right? And so I just want to say so much love to you. Also, that, just to clarify for listeners and viewers, um, Pua and comrades from all across Mama Earth showed up at Stanford with these 500,000 signatures,
Yes.
right? And that's what she's talking about. How did that day go, Pua?
For every single person there, and I dare say everyone who couldn't be there, but who knew that we were taking this step forward, it's like a victory. And I say everyone's victory. When one has a victory, we all do. And that's the way I look at it. When Apache Oak Flat has a victory, I do.
Mm.
When the Winnemem Wintu have a victory, I do.
Oh.
When the Lishano Lone have a victory, I do. When the
Oh.
Pomos have a victory, I do. No matter who it is, when we say Pono, we say, upright action. When upright action is achieved and accomplished, we all have a victory. Black Lives Matters, everything. We have to look at who we stand for, and when something good happens, we all cling to that
Mm.
because that's what feeds us. That's what strengthens us. So I will say, dressing in our regalia and coming forward
Oh.
and anointing and in true ceremony, bringing
Whee!
the waters of our mountain and anointing those pages, putting our pakai, our salt down on there, because we come from brave voyagers and we know the ocean. We are from the mountain to
Oh.
the deep sea, and to sing our songs and to chant and to dress in the manner that we did, and then to knock on that door and have that door open
Oh.
and say, we're coming in, and we're coming in 500,000.
Woo!
It was just what I needed. It was what I needed, because the reason too that we're in a situation right now where we felt it was urgent is because the 30-meter telescope corporation, TIO, is exploring maybe not building on the same place as they proposed, because we perhaps were successful with stopping that, but still looking at building on another site on the mountain. and really apologizing with the thought that an apology and doing it differently would perhaps allow, or that we would say, okay, you
Wow.
can build here, and it's just
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this was urgent for us to have to come up here and say, if you think you're going to build,
Okay.
we'll be waiting.
Okay. Mote, go ahead, man.
Yeah. Again, thank you, Pua, for educating the political education you have done your tireless work. Again, we've seen what patriarchy, colonization has brought us in the last 500 years, right? Destruction, the desecration of the earth, Mother Earth. Just seeing what you're doing, what Auntie Corina, what the folks from Winnie Wintu are doing. There's this movement of matriarchal movement of women, of mamas, of sisters rising up. And I've heard in some of the ceremonies that the time has come, to listen to these grandmas, to listen to these women leaders. Again, after finding out that in the last 500 years, patriarchy has brought destruction to this mama earth. If you can speak a little bit on that too, and also again, I love what you're saying about earlier, that unfortunately these events sometimes bring our people together, even people who were inactive. I don't know if you can speak a little bit about the local tribals in your area, and maybe the being active again to fight against this telescope. And lastly too, asking our own folks, and also to speak up about the exploitation that Disney does with this movie Moana, and where we jump in beautifying, glorifying these movies Moana and the beauty of the Pacific Islander land, and yet sometimes we don't even educate our own kids. And so asking folks too, as we're watching these movies, to getting a real education for our kids about what's happening in Mauna Kea, what's happening in some of these islands that they are trying to be desecrated. But can you speak a little more about the movement, the matriarchal movement that is happening in the world, of women raising up, fighting for Mother Earth?
Sure. First, let me say that, in Hawaii, we are countless in our efforts. We have protectors, organizers. I'm just one of very many, all of us just trying to do the best that we can. I always say that in Hawaii, there are issues for every minute of the day. We had come from a very small island nation. And it's a pinhead compared to land masses everywhere. And there's nowhere to escape from all of the issues that we have unless we move away. And even then, we're still connected in so many ways to our homeland. So when you're in Hawaii, you make a choice. You have to make a decision. There's so many issues. Which one can you stand for and which ones will you support? But they're all connected. And I really want to first acknowledge all of our people who have risen, who are standing, who will rise, because not just for Mauna Kea, but for everything that we hold dear. This is not our first rodeo here. We've been fighting for generations, and the military being in Hawaii, geothermal on the Mauna, we have to look at everything. So Mauna Kea is what brings us together. Mauna Kea is what strengthens us. And then we have to go home and look in our own communities and see, what are we going to stand for? Is it the billionaires coming in, the millionaires coming in, buying up our land, overdevelopment? Every day you can find something to stand for. So it is exhausting and it is challenging. And when you come and visit Hawaii, you don't see that. You're not seeing what we're doing every day, really. And Hawaii is beautiful. And our culture is rich and it's wonderful. And you
Mhm.
see all of that at your first glance. And unless you come to our homes, unless you make your way to a stance that we're doing that day, that's the impression. The landscape is just breathtaking. That's
Mhm.
what you're going to see. And so I think that's what shocked everyone as well when we stood and there were arrests and then we didn't back down and it's been years of doing this and then there were 10,000 in a lava field occupying, a place for 9 months in a lava
Mm.
field in a parking lot,
Ashe.
you know but
Ashe.
that's what we have to do, and that really maybe catapulted us into the world to say, wow, a native people live there and they're standing, and we're more than stories, and we are dance and we are prayer and
Mm.
we are our chanting.
Mm.
Yes. And in that way we stood in ritual and we stood in ceremony and we stood in strength. And yes, the women are strong in Hawaii as they are everywhere because we are an extension of the earth. And when we see that there is no choice, women will stand. But what I want to say about our men is that in this, especially in this last years of standing, of doing the work that we're doing, I have seen so many men heal and so many
Yo.
take their place. Because when you think about it, our men were stripped of being of their warrior self,
That part.
whether it be by missionaries, whether it be by first contact explorers, whatever it was, colonization, whatever you want to call it, the outcome is the same.
Ashe.
Men being stripped of their power. That's what I'm going to say from my own heart. I've seen it, I've watched it. But
Mhm.
yet, at least for us on Mauna Kea, I started to see our men take their place in ways
Wow.
that they hadn't been able to before and
Ashe.
find their own voice and their gifts and their strengths and their skills
Woo.
and bring that to the mountain. And that's what I've seen. And
Ashe.
even going to other places. I mean, we as women, yes, we know our place and we will take it.
Yeah.
And then we need to just look around from my own heart
Mhm.
and where do the men fit there? Because I need protectors,
Mhm.
I need carvers, I need firekeepers, we need everything to be in place.
Yo.
That part.
Because that's what our ancestors want for us. Yes, our ancestors are happy when our women stand because we have to and we will and we keep the fire burning in within us, and then we teach and then we share. Then
Mhm.
we rise again after we fall on our knees because we're tired. I don't glorify
Yes.
this at all. This is work.
Right.
This,
Ashe.
this is blood, sweat, and tears.
Ashe. I I just have to say that we're running out of time, sis.
Okay.
And I wanted to lift up the fact, shout out to all the Pacific Island family of Poor Magazine, Loa and Fui, and
Hi.
all the warriors, right? All the Pacific Island warriors. So many Ui and others. And you, beautiful Pua, and all of your beautiful family. And shout out to my mama D, spent her the only time that she was probably happy is in Hawaii when she was adopted by a Hawaiian Portuguese family there. And shout out to Judy Tamario and all the relatives over there on the islands. But I also wanted to say that Sister Pua is part of a beautiful movie as well that you created. Could you tell listeners and viewers about the movie real quickly and where they could
Sure.
see it or access it?
The movie is called Standing Above the Clouds, and it's about mothers and daughters
Mm,
from Mauna Kea who have stood for the mountain in the courtroom, on the front line, in the community. It's about the beauty of standing, but it's also about real life challenge, tragedy, hardship, It's about the truth, and every one of us has a story. We were just blessed to be able to find a all women crew, a film crew who said, "Can we tell your story?"
Mm.
And so we were able to do that. But every single one of us has a story in our heart. And I hope that you write it down, you record it in some way, you tell your children about it, because our story is important, but so is every story
Mm.
that's out there when it comes to doing what we need to do for the sacred, for our homelands, for our mountains, for our waters, and our life ways. And how you can follow us and find the movie, go to Protect Mauna Kea on Instagram, DM us there. And you can find out about all of, not just Mauna Kea. I want to really emphasize that, yes, Mauna Kea is our Pico, but there's so much we need to stand for, not just in Hawaii, but with all of you, our
Mm.
relatives. And we're just humble people, but we are also fierce in the love of our land. So
Mm.
again, protect Mauna Kea and stand strong, everybody. Stand strong.
Oh,
Oh,
so much love, Pua. And again, you heard listeners and viewers, protect Mauna Kea on Instagram, and also just make sure that you teach your children this history.
yes.
So important. And yeah, when all these corporate Disney movies coming out, like my brother said, what's the real history?
Mm.
Thank you so much, Pua. We love you so much. Thank you for being on Poor People's Radio.
Okay, hold on though. You know, this movies and everything. I have to say, there's an element of us in there too. It's
Okay.
not, yeah, everything's, it can be all things at all times,
That part.
you
That
know,
part.
because we
That
love
part.
our people in them as well in our
That's
story.
it.
So I don't want to look like, I'm downing those either. There's a beauty in there, because
That's
that's
it.
how our children are going to connect first. They're going to see
Mm.
that, they're going to be interested, they're going to be
Mm.
looking, and they're going to say, wow, that's me. That's
Mm.
still
Mm.
Yes.
There you go.
him lives me.
That's
So
it.
yeah, but I
That's
love you
it.
folks, and mahalo everybody.
Mahalo, aloha.
Aloha.
All right. Bye, dear.
Bye.
Yes, you're listening and watching Poor People's Radio. That's PNN, not CNN, people. As we fight for each other here on this stolen land in so called Oakland, settler colonized Uchun and Yalamu. We also know that we're all connected. So please support Mauna Kea, protect Mauna Kea. Please support Oak Flat. Please support Sigorte Land Trust. Please support the Winneman Wintu. These are all connected. Shout out to our relatives in Oak Flat who are still fighting in this in the face of this settler terror of taking other mountains in so-called Arizona away from the sacred sites that they are. These are all connected. If you are caring about us as houseless people, you are caring about the land upon which we try to dwell and are swept like we're trash. So, having said that, again, I just want to also shout out to our relatives in Etna Street Solidarity who are down in Tavangar. Reporting in a little bit, they'll be reporting on surviving while houseless in these fires. One of the stories that are never told and intentionally never told. But also, I just want to lift up too that today in occupied Yalamu, aka so-called San Francisco, where don't be walking down the street while houseless. Poor magazine Homefulness, which is trying to build a homeless people solution to homelessness, which is not trying to own anything because we don't believe Mother Earth is for sale, and we actively, spiritually, and legally, with our First Nations relatives, unsell Mother Earth. But in this humble little space, we are actually holding a design workshop to design the future building of homefulness with the houseless relatives who will be living there. All folks are invited in Occupied Yalamu, fellow poverty scholars, gentrified people, displaced people, poor people, 3390 Cesar Chavez Street, today at 11 a.m. So having said that, we know that a lot of things are holding us back. A lot of things are out there to numb us, especially as poor people. They like to keep us all quiet with their chemical warfare. We have a beautiful sister warrior in our community at Homefulness, who is one of the residents of this rent-free forever housing, as well as a powerful warrior with our comrades at Wood Street Commons. Beautiful sister Ifalayo with her segment, The Addiction Doula. Listen up, watch up.
Eddie Woya, Eddie Woya, Eddie Woya. This is KEXU 96.1 FM on the Poor News Network, and I am your addiction doula, Ifalayo, on the Holistic Detox and Recovery segment, connecting you to traditional ways to be reborn and liberated from addiction and trauma. Today, I want to share a message of pouring into others and how that also is medicine for your own healing through a traditional lens. A lot of us who are recovering from addiction carry deep wounds. Some of those wounds happened way before the substance use, trauma,
Yeah,
loss,
for this
rejection,
scenario,
homelessness, violence, family separation, grief. All these experiences can leave bumps in the road on our journey. In Ifa, healing is not seen as something that happens in isolation. Healing is about restoring balance within ourselves, our communities, our relationships, and our connection to our higher purpose. It's key in Ifa to always have Iwa Pele, which means good character, living with compassion, patience, humility, kindness, and integrity. One way we can start to develop these qualities is through service to others. Being in service doesn't mean ignoring your own needs or not pouring back into yourself. It means recognizing that your experiences, even the painful ones, can become medicine for someone else. Your journey and strength matters. Who better to support someone entering recovery than someone who has walked that path? Who better to understand the fear of change than someone who has also made that step?
What happened?
I don't know.
You can bring up the microphone.
Yeah.
Greetings, relatives. I don't know what happened. We had a technical glitch in this powerful medicine. Is it working? No. So I just want to urge people to go on to Poor News Network on YouTube.
These qualities.
Oh, here we go. We're back. No, we're not. Sorry. Okay, go to Poor News Network on YouTube to watch the entire video podcast.
It was uploaded where the sound cut off.
Oh, that's where it is.
So
Okay.
whatever she uploaded, it's cut off.
Welcome to Poor People's Radio. We technical difficulties embodied over here. How about that? We keep trying though, family, because we know that unbought, unpimped, unplayed voices of poor and houseless people, of indigenous people, need to be heard. I oftentimes say, you might wonder why you can't see my eyes. You might wonder why you can't see my lives, because poor people like me, they would rather we just die. So I cover my mouth so you can hear me. I cover my eyes so you can actually see me. And when I say that, I mean to uninvisibilize poor and houseless people's bodies who are intentionally lost and silenced and never seen, while these politricksters and this hate continues to destroy us everywhere. So having said that, we're going to try to bring up Dr. Sweet.
That one.
hopefully works.
Hopefully it works.
That one,
Dr. Sweet, another graduate of Poor People's Radio, with his powerful
Thank
work
you for
as a
joining
poverty
me here.
scholar,
Titans,
telling his truth on the Epstein files.
thank you for joining me here today. Today, the story is the big cover-up, government cover-up. Jeffrey Epstein, from tech titans to Wall Street power brokers and foreign dignitaries, a who's of powerful men making appearances in the huge numbers of domestic violence, released by the Justice Department in connection with its investigation of Jeffrey Epstein, all have denied having anything to do with his sexual abuse of girls and children, young women. Yet some of them maintained friendships with Epstein or developed them anew even after news stories made him widely known as in an alleged abuse of young girls. None have been charged with a crime. None of these perpetrators connected to the investigation. Epstein killed himself in a Manhattan jail cell in 2019. Here's a prime minister. There is a prime minister on some of the files, notable names in the Epstein files: Prince Charles, Elon Musk, Richard Branson, Donald Trump, the biggest of them all, Bill Clinton, Stephen Gates, Cassidy Wiseman, Elton Bronx, Howard Lucknick, Steve Bannon, and many, many more. They have not released the files. What has happened here is that Donald Trump has tried everything in his power to deflect from these files coming out. He has started wars. He has killed many, many people in other countries just to take our attention off of the Epstein files. This is all a cover-up. Everything that's going on, everything that Donald Trump is doing is to cover up in his tracks and cover for the people that he know who are involved in this. He's trying to do his best to keep this under wraps. We will not forget. It'll come back up. And we will hold each and every one of these child molesters accountable for their actions. I just want to say, I would like for all of you to join me here at PNN Radio. I want to close off now, and I want to thank all of you for joining me here today. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Again, thank you to our uncle, Dr. Sweet, from PNM Radio, Poverty Scholar. I just want to talk about again the screening of crushing wheelchairs. There's going to be happening right here in San Francisco on Saturday, July 25th at 4 p.m. at the Victoria Theater. The address of the Victoria Theater is 2961 16th Street, San Francisco, aka Yalamo. And also, there's no accident. The crushing wheelchair is at the Victoria Theater. It's right next to the Redstone Building, in the Redstone Building. Which some of you guys know, it's a hub for grassroots, for poor people, organizations that we have been fighting to keep. And so again, it shows of the resistance that still's happening. And with these beautiful, powerful medicine called crushing wheelchairs, that again they humanize our poverty scholars. Like my sister says, we're more than people living in cabins. We're more than the things that we carry. Again, at some point, we were someone's daughter, someone's son, and again, this beautiful movie. Tells the story of some of these public scholars that they are portraying this powerful movie. Please, if you haven't watched, it's not to be missed. We just came back from Tobangar in a pack, full, sold out theater in Tobangar, receiving this medicine. And again, This is done by poverty scholars who have lived experience. None of us, like Tanya says, we're living, not acting.
Oh,
And again, come and support. In a time where we're trying to be swept, erased. This is a powerful movie that they can say that we're here and that we're not going anywhere.
oh, Mateo. Tiba, did you bring up the flyer? So just so people know also that for us, it's not about making money, it's not about selling seats. It's about actually making sure the cinematic medicine gets out. So please, if you're interested, you can email us or go directly. Shout out also to the Association for Social and Economic Justice. This is a film festival of indigenous and poor and social justice films. You should check out the whole festival put out by a very grassroots movement. Support the Social and Economic Justice Film Festival. We ain't got no festival love, and they invited us. So that gives you an idea of how connected to us grassroots folks that movement is. So please support them. That said, it's back on you, my brother.
Well, again, I just want to thank everyone for supporting Poor Magazine, the Poor People's Led movement, and the work that everyone's doing in their own communities. So that's all for this edition of Poor People's Radio. To get a complete podcast, you can go to Poor Magazine on SoundCloud or poormagazine.org or whatever you get your podcast from. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, Blue Sky at Poor Magazine or at Poverty Scholar. To get the complete video podcast, subscribe to us on YouTube, the Poor News Network channel on YouTube. All power to the people.
Power.